Let's talk some more about how the anti-Israel hatred in the Middle East is playing out here in our own country. I want to go to Shadow Education Minister Sarah Henderson, who joins us live from Canberra. Thanks for joining us, Sarah. The Parliamentary Committee looked at anti-Semitism in our universities. We all remember seeing Mark Scott, the Vice-Chancellor of Sydney University, apologising for failing the students and I would say failing the nation. But what's going to change as a result of this?
Well, Chris, I think already quite a bit has changed after many months of seeing shocking anti-Semitic incidents on a number of university campuses. The worst, I think, was the University of Sydney. The Vice-Chancellor, Mark Scott, has now apologised and they are now reviewing all of their policies. But much more needs to be done, and that's why the Coalition continues to push for a judicial inquiry into anti-Semitism at Australian universities. I have to say it's incredibly disappointing after we held that Senate inquiry into the bill, and it's a bill also replicated by the great work of Julie and Lisa in the House of Representatives. Very disappointing. Labor has not supported a judicial inquiry because it's desperately needed.
You've also got to get the universities to teach more facts and history, because the sort of protest, the sort of hatred we're seeing propagated against Israel is full of lies, full of incorrect information, full of ignorance. Surely our universities are there to get rid of ignorance, not perpetuate it.
Well, that's right, and that was one of the, of course, important jobs of the Judicial Commission, and that is to investigate all of the teachings of the universities, not just the policies and procedures, but also how we can change the law. Because, frankly, what we have seen over nearly 12 months since that horrific day last October is shocking incidents of anti-Semitism, the classroom invasions, Chris, the encampments, the treatment of visiting Tel Aviv academics. Just ongoing protests where the universities have failed to enforce their own rules. It's just not good enough. And when we have this sort of division on university campuses, that's just, not just good, bad for Jewish students, but it impacts
everyone.
The entire university culture and community. It is appalling for this country, and we need to do so much better. And that's why I am shocked that the Prime Minister and the Albanese government have not even listened to their own anti-Semitism envoy, Gillian Segal, who strongly recommended a judicial commission, a judicial inquiry, a commission of inquiry, because of the systemic and embedded nature of anti-Semitism on campuses around this country.
Well, Albanese is clearly failing the country on all these issues. He is pathetic. He will not stand up for right against wrong. He won't stand up for Israel. He won't even strongly condemn anybody who would be planning to protest against Israel on the anniversary of October the 7th. It's so clear-cut, that contest between humanity and barbarity, but he won't actually make that clear. Listen to your own colleague Susan Lee. She gets it.
It is sickening, and it's a vile reflection on the individuals concerned that they would choose to march on such an occasion. So it's always a difficult issue for the police, but court orders need to be sought, and I don't think anyone in law enforcement wants to see these protests go ahead.
Why can't our own Prime Minister speak with that sort of moral clarity?
Well, Chris, it is a shocking reflection of the weakness of this government that they have not had the temerity to stand up and say no such protest should go ahead on the 7th of October. I mean, the Jewish community around this country is grieving. They are still grieving the loss of more than 1,000 lives lost last October 7. And it is frankly disgusting that this government and this Prime Minister, including the Education Minister, Jason Clare, in relation to any proposed protest at a university, would stand by and allow this to happen. We must not see any protest next Monday on what is a day of grief and mourning for the Australian Jewish community.